Which one do you think is better? The top 500 US corporate or top 100 the best brands of the world? Let's find out. If we look at the 5-year unit price comparison, both of them seems to have a similar return of about 11% per year annualized for 5 years. But if you look at the 14-year comparison since 2008 till 2022, S&P 500 IVV ETF has outperformed global IOO by quite a lot. So if you have invested $10,000 with IVV in 2008, it will turn into about $42,000 in 2022, whereas the same investment for IOO, you will end up with $25,000. So obviously $42,000 is about 68% more than $25,000, or if you prefer an annualized return per year, IVV has done 10.8% per year for the past 14 years, whereas global IOO has done 7% per year for the past 14 years. This is also a good demonstration that just 3.8% difference of compounding each year over a long period of time, over a 10-year period, will make a substantial difference. As a reminder, this video are purely informational. I'm not trying to convince you, oh, this 500 is better or this 100 is better, and I hope you find it useful as well. So in this table, I've summarized all the basic information that most people need to know. I extract the information from blackrock.com, and let's compare each category. So IVV S&P 500 obviously follow S&P 500 index, whereas global IOO follows S&P Global 100. And make sure you watch till the end because I'm going to talk about the different risks involved within the ETF. So IVV has lower management fee, about 0.04% per year, whereas IOO has a management fee about 0.4% per year. That's a difference by a factor of 10. Based on October 2022, S&P 500 IVV has about 504 company stocks within the ETF, whereas Global 100 ETF has 102. The first risk that you need to understand is that these two ETF are investing in stocks in overseas market, and therefore it will involve overseas currency, global currency. And the more global currency it has, the more foreign exchange currency it will involve, obviously. So with Global 100, it has about 8 currencies. So Japanese yen, Korean won, or Euro, British pound, whereas S&P IVV only has US dollars and Australian dollars. The inception date is quite similar, with S&P 500 started in May 2000, whereas Global 100 started in December 2000. So around about the time of the dot-com bubble. One big difference is in the distributions as well, where S&P 500 IVV has 4 times a year distributions quarterly, whereas IOO has twice a year distributions. IVV has a fund size about $5 billion as of October 2022, whereas Global 100 has about $2.5 billion of fund size. And here is the interesting point. Remember, we just talked about the 14-year return for IVV is more superior, and I'm not saying it will repeat in the future. Please, past performance doesn't repeat in the future, but IVV has done about 10.8% for the past 14 years, from 2008 till 2022, whereas IOO has done about 7% per year. But if you look at the 5-year comparison from 2017 till 2022, they've done about the same, and they've done really good, about 11% per year. The return since inception is much less. And remember, I talk about the inception date is around the dot-com bubble, the crazy internet bubble period. Maybe that contributed to why the annualized return since inception, so it's about 22 years period from 2000 till 2022, is much lower than the 5-year and the 14-year return. For S&P 500, it's about 5.5% annualized per year, whereas IOO is about 3.7% per year. Again, I'm singing the same song again, that past performance doesn't repeat. Now, if our friend Robert Chaplin is watching, he'll ask this question: why is that so? One reason that I've found, and this is just my opinion only, is that the FANG stocks, Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, Alphabet, Amazon, has done a lot of the heavy lifting, especially for the past 5 years. And you can watch this video if you're interested with the financial performance this FANG stocks has done for the past 5 years. And I'm saying that because if you look at top holdings of both ETF based on October 2022, there are similarities. They have names such as Apple, Microsoft, Amazon. Global 100 doesn't have Tesla. I still think Tesla is a brand, brand. And that is something that you need to do more research about. How do they filter out these top 100 brands? Is that suitable with your standard of investment? And S&P 500 has Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett, and Charlie Munger greatest work of art. But S&P 500 doesn't have one of the strongest brand and food company in the world, Nestle. If you compare the sector breakdown between IOO and IVV, they are more or less quite similar. But if you look at the geographic breakdown, it's quite different, obviously, because one is global and one is 100% US based. So let's have a look at Global 100. And they invest at least 73% of their portfolio in the United States, and the rest is 7% in the UK, 5% in Switzerland, 3% in Japan, 2.7% in Germany. And here comes one risk that I was saying in the beginning of the video. What's happening in Europe? What's gonna happen to the stock market, especially with this company profitability, if the Russia-Ukraine war is still happening? But let me remind you that past performance doesn't repeat in the future, and you gotta be prepared of the worst case scenario. I hope you find it useful, and thank you.